Okay. We
And we're
should
live.
be live on screen in your home. Hey, everybody. This is Jack Kenna and
Carly Hall.
Carly Hall.
I did it that time, see?
I did. Good job, too. We're getting there. It's only show number 2, so we're doing good. But we're back live for our paranormal Q&A with Jack Kenna and Carly Hall. So a little change to what I posted the other night. Our two friends, Helena and Alex King, they're right here. I'm going to show them for a quick second. They can't make it tonight because little Bowie there in the middle, he's a little older than that now. That was when he was first born. But they can't make it on tonight because little Bowie's not feeling good. He's got a tummy ache or whatever is all day. So actually, they also remember they're from the UK. So our good friends from the UK are, it's like 1 a.m. there for them right now. So
Poor guys.
it's 1 in the morning for them there right now.
They are probably still up, but just not enjoying it as much.
Yeah, well, hopefully they're all asleep by now. I think they had a long, rough day. So they asked me if they could reschedule for another time. So of course they can. That's not a problem. But we are going to have on at 8:30. We'll be bringing my friend Greg TJ Justice on, who I'm doing an event. Actually, Carly and I we're both doing that event this year. In matter of fact, it's the end. It's first weekend of March. Down in Tennessee, and so we're going to talk more about that a little later on. But we will be doing that an event down there, and well, I can throw that up. Hang on just a second. We'll share that here. I'll show you what this event's going to be about, and then when Greg gets on, he can talk more, a little bit about it, and he can also answer some questions as well.
Yeah.
So here it is.
And hello to everybody who's saying hello.
Hello, everyone. Yes,
yeah,
we're talking. So here, I'll show you this event that we're going to be doing down in Columbia, Tennessee. Tickets are going fast, so get them now if you're down that way, or if you just want to take a visit down that way. You'll be investigating not only with me, but with Doogie from Tennessee Wraith Chasers, my buddy. And so him and I will be there for meet and greet, and you'll be able to investigate with us. And it runs from 7 p.m. to, I think, 1:30 in the morning on Sunday. So 7 p.m. on Saturday to 1:30 in the morning on Sunday. And that's Central Standard Time because that is down in Tennessee. So it's a haunting night in Columbiana, Tennessee. And it's the Anthem... I think they call it the Anthem Theater down there, or just the Anthem down there. So it's going to be a good time. We're going to have a great time down there. I'm going to take that down now. Okay, so that's what's going on. That's what we're going to be talking about more tonight after Greg comes on at 8:30 with us, our time. So anyway, so Carly, I know we had a question. We're going to start off talking about. And remember, everybody, this is for you guys to ask us any questions you have regarding the paranormal. Any questions you have regarding anything in the paranormal, we'll try to do our best to answer your questions for you. That includes psychic abilities and things like that. And we don't do readings on here or anything like that, so don't expect that from us. We're just here to answer questions. So there was a question that was given to Carly last week. And Carly, I think you remember who gave you the question.
Yeah, it was Jason Myers.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't know if Jason is on yet, but
okay. I'll still answer it because it was a very good question.
Yeah.
And it did actually take a lot of research into it, but and I actually bought a bunch of books into these topics in order to find the answer because I was very interested myself. And the question is, what does science say about witchcraft, bewitchment, satanic eye, and paranormal phenomenon? So I did a bunch of research, and it actually kind of tied to a case that we had residential-wise.
Mhm.
And from what I found, that science is related to, like, bewitchment, satanic eye, and all of that.
Okay.
Like how Jack says, is it's all about intent. Your intent to put into everything. Now, intent, you're putting out energy. You're putting out a specific type of energy. Now, this energy you're not creating and you're not destroying. So anytime like you cast a spell or you're saying a prayer, you are putting out energy for a higher being to kind of shape certain situations and reshape it. You're not creating a new form of energy. You're not creating or destroying anything. You are recycling the energy that's in the universe and just reshaping everything. It's like the laws of the universe. You can't create or destroy energy. You can just reshape it. Same thing goes with photons.
Hmm.
They're on a molecular level with cells. Um, when electrons move up and down their rings, they release energy in order to do that. And the energy that they released is actually released as light called photons. So that also corresponds with orbs, spiritual orbs. Commonly, when we see spirit orbs, they're not necessarily spirits all of the time, but we do commonly catch EVPs, electronic voice phenomenon, with it. So it's kind of like a spirit puts out energy to create an EVP. The energy that it puts out, also as seen with electrons, can be seen as a photon or a spirit orb.
Okay.
So it's like a release of energy. So that's it. It's pretty much the same with the laws of science. It corresponds.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Very good. Very good. So I think we answered that question. I see our daughter is online. We call her our daughter.
Alexis!
Alexis
Yay!
Carly is on. She has a question though. I don't think it's paranormal related, but maybe we can answer her question. So I found that necklace, and I don't know what to do with it. The guy wants it back, but I don't know if I should give it to him. I don't know what she's talking about. Carly, Alexis.
I do know what she's talking about.
Oh, okay, okay. What is she talking about?
That Netflix that she was given by a friend of hers that was cursed.
Oh. Yes. All right.
She
Now I know.
lost it, and yeah. So
Okay.
what we had, I
We believe it was
I don't know.
cursed.
That's your call, Jack. Yeah. I don't know what
He
we
wants it.
recommended
He
to her.
wants it back, right?
If he wants it back,
He wants it back. Well, if he, yeah, well, technically he owns it, so
yeah.
um,
If he
he,
wants it back, give it to him, I guess.
yeah, either that or tell him he lost it. I don't know. 'Cause he
For
gave it.
his own
Well,
good.
everybody needs to know what that's about. This guy she had met gave her the necklace, and he was kind of into the occult stuff, and we believe he may have put like a spell of some type on it. Um, but then again, we don't really know for sure. I told her at the one time, I said, just, cast it into,
A
if it,
river,
yeah,
something like a stream or something.
stream, river, whatever. Um, don't keep it. In other words, the whatever the curse, whatever you want to call it, was on the necklace, not on Alexis. So if he wants it back, given what it is, just give it back to him. If he wants it back, give it back to him. I wouldn't, depending on how well or good friends you are still with this person, you may want to mail it back to him. I wouldn't necessarily hand it to him in person, or leave it. If he lives close by, just leave it in his mailbox. Put it in an envelope, leave it in his mailbox. That would be my suggestion. They want it back, give it back to him. It's theirs technically. Let him have it back. Whatever.
If he doesn't want it back,
If he doesn't, what do you mean? If he doesn't want it back? She said he
if
wanted it back.
no, she said, I don't know what to do with it. Oh, the guy wants it back. Okay, sorry, never mind. Ignore what I said. Give it back to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She goes, I just don't want anyone else getting cursed or something. So, yeah. Well, if you made it, if she says, hey, I made it. Made it to the show. Got it. Never mind. Alexis, I get confused over what she's talking about sometimes. Hate him, and I don't know where he lives. Well, then you can't give it back to him. If you hate him and you don't know where he lives, then you can't give it back to him, really, can you? So there you go. So I would just not bother with it. I don't know how. Well, he probably asked you. My guess would be he asked her on Facebook or something to give it back to him.
Yeah.
You could always say, well, if you really want it back, then you're going to have to give me your address so I can mail it back to you. So that's all. If he gives you his address, mail it back. If he doesn't, don't worry about it. Just forget about it and throw it in your jewelry box or something. I don't know. That would be my answer to that. You know, I'm not really totally sure it's completely cursed. I haven't really touched it. I haven't really looked at it yet. Love you too, Carly. Alexis Carly. I love Carly too, but I love Alexis Carly too. So hopefully I
So
answered your.
confusing.
She looks confused with all her emojis. So, anyways, all right. So I think we got your question. We got other people on here, so I want to try to get to as many as I could. Here's from. Start looking further up there, Carly, and see what else you can find. But I see this one from a Colette McCardle. Why does Hollywood make these paranormal films out? Some of them are just pathetic, to be totally honest. I've watched most of them. That's a good question. I mean, Hollywood, I'm on TV. I'm not involved with Hollywood per se. Although a good friend of ours, Rick McCullum, is. He has been in many movies. Our buddy Rick, and yeah, he's done a lot, and all the horror films. He's done everything. Is just horror films. He's actually even worked on The Walking Dead, which I did not know that until he told me late last year. He actually worked on some of the short films that they did there. He was a stunt coordinator for them, so that was his part of it, and that's what he is. He's a stuntman out in Hollywood. Why do they make them? Because they make money. To be honest with you, in the end, for Hollywood, for TV, anytime you're talking about paranormal stuff, TV shows, movies, they make them because they can make money off of them, Colette. And as long as people go to them, as stupid as some of them are, as long as people go to them and they can make back double their money at least in these movies. Some they lose money on, others they actually even double their money, even like the really bad ones. I think I know you're talking about. If they can double their money, they made out, because some of those films are done on a very low budget. So that's just why they're so pathetic and bad. So yeah, they do it because they can make money. That's the real answer to it. It's not to educate anyone. It's not to give you real information. Although some of the little bit better ones do hire paranormal people from the paranormal to be their quote experts for those shows. And what they do is they give it. They're more like advisors. They'll tell the director, what really happens in the paranormal, or what really goes on during possessions and things like that. And sometimes they take those people advice, but they hire them as consultants. I got another friend of ours has been a consultant on a couple movies. They don't always listen to him, but they have him there to say, "Oh yeah, we had somebody, an expert involved with our movies, so we could do it." Probably the best, truthfully, the best paranormal related film out there that was ever made was and even real Exorcist was The Exorcist, and Father Amort actually said that was a pretty accurate movie for the most part, with the exception of the head spinning around and stuff like that. But it was very accurate with regards to how people react when they are actually possessed. Again, not so much the head spinning around or the projection vomiting of pea soup, but they do vomit. They do actually cough up items. He's seen them cough up nails that seem to come out of nowhere, but they see it come out of the person's mouth, but it's a nail that comes out of the person's mouth, or sometimes a crucifix. All these things that they couldn't have possibly swallowed and then regurgitate them. So they're very strange things. They find things even in the pillows and stuff like that shouldn't be there. The pillows are sealed and there's no way these items could get in there, but they find like nails, really weird stuff. Items bound with the person's hair that are inside the pillow, which how did those get there? And even mattresses, and it's very strange, very weird stuff. So That's the more positive side when you run into films that actually do listen to the people that are consulting for them on it. So very cool. What else did we have up there, Carly?
Um, I didn't see another question, but Alexis says my eyebrows are on fleek. Thank you very much.
Whatever that means. I don't know.
But they're great.
Oh, okay.
So they're good. Um,
Oh, Joe McCarthy did ask us a question. What do you
oh,
think
did
of?
they? I missed
Yeah,
it.
what do you think of the movie The Conjuring, Joe? Joe asked me that. I actually, I really enjoyed The Conjuring. Well, both of them really. The two movies. I did enjoy those. Well done. Not totally accurate, but they were well done movies in that I think some of the paranormal activity they show you in there, things like that. Some of it I've actually experienced, seeing a figure walk by a doorway. Um, you know, the hearing noises and things like that. The director, I forget who was the director for that, The Conjuring. Anyways, he does a great job with all those movies. He actually did. Oh, Carly, we watched those other films too. Um,
Uh, the 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 three
yeah,
ones with the investigation
There
ones.
was there was the 4 films he did,
Yeah.
before he did The Conjuring and The Conjuring 2 there.
It was
Uh,
with that like investigator team that was like really dorky, right?
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Yeah, that's close enough.
Insidious. Insidious.
Insidious, the Insidious
Yes.
film. Those I really enjoyed. Those were really close, a lot of the activity stuff going on to what real activity can be like. So in his shows, in his movies, I'm just looking it up right now, to see, James Wan, WAN. Um, yeah, I like how his approach to those films were. Um, not always showing you everything. I love the camera angles he used. They kept you intrigued and so excited, and really caught you into those movies, both Insidious and the Conjuring movies. So he did a really good job with them, and he had consultants on his films too. So it went really well, and he's very good at making those type of movies. So I did enjoy those. There's some other ones I went to see with my stepdaughter Olivia a couple times, which was I think Ouija was one. Oh boy, that was
Oh,
awful.
I've never seen
Uh,
that one.
I didn't care. It was fun to watch in some ways, but it was just kind of out there. Um, so I mean, there's some things, yeah, you just got to take with a grain of salt and stuff like that. So Joe, I hope I answered your question to that. I'm just
I
trying
have
to
another
see.
one.
We do
Does
have another question. Good. Because this is what it's about, people. Remember, this is about answering your questions
yes.
regarding anything paranormal, even movies if you want. We don't care. Aaron Gove says The Exorcist scares me to this day. Yeah, actually, I was a little kid when my father took our family to the drive-in movies to see it, and I remember being so scared. I just laid down in the back seat and turned the other way and covered my eyes. Of course, I would look every time I hear something going on, and of course, I did look when I saw the head spinning and all that stuff, and I was scared for like a month after that. I think I was like. I forget how old I was. I couldn't have been more than I was younger than 10. I know that. Scared
Oh.
the bejesus out of me. I didn't sleep well for a week, and I was still kind of scared after
Oh.
that. But, well, back in those days, they really didn't give ratings on movies. So, I think that was before they really did ratings too much. So, yeah, he didn't know what to expect either. But everybody just heard it was a really scary and good movie. So we went to go see it. My father wanted to go see it. So yeah, scares me. Some of it even scares me to this day too. Uh,
So, Tammy Weaver
oh
asked, "Does
yeah,
weather affect energy?"
yes, absolutely. Weather affects, and I assume she means paranormal energy, like spirit energy, things like that. Just energy in general. Yeah, weather of course affects it. You got thunder and lightning storms. guess what? The energy is really high, and you can feel it. I mean, you can feel it in your body in that kind of weather. You feel that heaviness, that change in air density and things like that. The barometer changes, right? So, you feel all that. You can feel the energy. I have people say, I can feel the energy in the air. You can, because it's electrified, right? So you're getting all that static charge, everything else that's building up during storms and things like that. But yeah, weather definitely affects it. Good weather to bad weather, and sometimes really good weather, you can get more activity. Just because the sun's feeding a lot of energy to the earth, so you're getting a lot more of that, a lot more of the UV stuff. I did want to point out this, and John Covey, whose event we're going to be going back to this year. Covey, we've been invited back by John.
Yeah.
I think he's going to end up, well, I'll let John speak to that if he wants. He can post it in the chat there if he'd like to, of when he plans his event for this coming year. I know it'll be towards the end of the year. He says the Conjuring Universe is this year's theme. And he did post James Wan as the director, so I missed that, John, but thanks for posting that. I actually did end up looking it up on my other screen. If you see me looking to the side sometimes, everybody, it's because I've got a little screen going on now, so I can pull some things up while we're chatting here. And
Mr. Techie.
yeah, I'm in the broadcast I use BeLive to broadcast this stuff. So I'm in my studio right now controlling all that stuff. So I have the other screen set up now so I can check on things there. And okay, Alexis, Carly. Okay, I have some chores. Chores. Love you guys. Good night. Okay, Alexis, if you didn't already jump off, good night, hon. We'll talk to you soon. I'll chat with you tomorrow. All right. So she had to go do some chores she had to do. I'm glad she got to stop in tonight, though.
Yeah.
She's somebody we met out in the Rochester area, and through another friend of ours. We actually did not go out to plan to meet her. We went to see our friend Jenny Deinhardt and Mike Deinhardt, and hang out with them and help them with something they have going on in their home. And while we were there, Alexis is one of her daughter's, Jenny's daughter's friends, and we met her there. And turns out she was having some issues, paranormal issues herself. She's dealing with. She has some abilities, and she's learning how to work with those abilities. We're helping her with that. But we really got close with her that day because there's a lot going on, and we've been hanging with her ever since. We do try to get out to visit when we can, and just so happens my son goes to college out that way. He goes out to, in Western New York. He goes to college out right off the same exit we go to see Alexi and Jenny. So it just happened to work out that way, which is kind of cool. You never know. I guess my point there is you never know where the world is going to lead you, and usually we find it leads us to a lot of new friends and new people that we can help out. Dave Doyle. Joe says, thanks, Jack. Just so you know, I got permission to have my investigation at the Conjuring House. Yes, Joe, I know you told me that. I think you messaged me that yesterday or something. But that's awesome. I'm glad you're getting to do the Conjuring House. Very cool. Maybe like get there someday myself. But it probably won't be this year. You got too much else going on. But congratulations to you. I hope you have a great investigation. You'll have to let me know how that goes out there with you and your team. Dave Doyle, what is your take on being followed or having an attachment? And has it happened to you after an investigation? What's my take on having an attachment or getting an attachment? Avoid them at all costs.
Yeah, try to prevent it. You don't really want it.
And there is ways to do that. There's techniques you can use, and you see it on some of the shows. The guys do prayer both before and after they call on their faith, which I'm a strong believer in that, to protect them from those things. And that does work. It does work. You can also use a white light technique to envision yourself being surrounded in as Carly likes to say, a hamster ball of white light.
Yeah, like those hamster balls that people crawl in? It's like the big inflatable balls, and they run people over.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
In case you don't know, I really want to do that.
Yeah, I can tell. You can do that. I'll watch. That'll be fun. You can run me over with the ball, I suppose. That's all. But yeah, she was surrounded.
Yeah,
You visualize yourself surrounded by this white light, pushing
nothing
all
can
the
touch it.
darkness and all the negativity away.
Yep.
And as you practice doing that, I practice it at home. You can practice pushing it out and drawing that light in, and you bring it from your center, and you draw that light in. So when you're investigating, you can draw it in so things will better interact with you. But if you feel something negative around you, you can expand that light out to protect yourself right away. It does work. It's all about intent and all about belief, and having faith in things that can protect you. And we're not talking about religion here. We're talking about faith in something positive that can protect you. Um, I have faith in Jesus Christ and God. I happen to be Roman Catholic. That's my religion, and my faith is in Jesus and God. So that's the difference. Religion is something that man created in order to set up worshiping rituals and things to follow and rules to follow and things like that. But many people say they'll tell you they follow the teachings of Jesus Christ, which is literally his original teachings, and how he approached people in the world. And I'm more along those lines. Which is more like what our Pope Francis is today. He's also, some people don't know, he is an exorcist, and he has done exorcisms right out in public, and people didn't realize it. So that's where my faith is and my belief system is. And Carly has her own, and she can talk to that if she wants. But I wanted to read. I started to read something. Oh, again, attachments. So back to attachments. Yes, in my early days of investigating, I did have I did have an attachment. Well, actually, something tried to, and you can see that it's actually on Haunted Case Files. I think it was season 1 when we had the. I talked about that in my lecture. Um, it was the Dean Winthrop house, where I asked this entity to show me how to communicate with it, and of course it tried in the only way it knew how. It tried to enter me, and I got its thoughts, and I was having thoughts that weren't mine, and I could feel myself, my whole body starting to shake and feeling drained, and it was trying to enter me in order to communicate with me. Because you got to remember that people, they don't have a body, so they've got to use their energy, and their energy is their actual thoughts. It's the essence of who we are. It's your soul. So that individual is trying to do that, not to be malicious, but just try to do what I asked, communicate with me. And I was able to say, no, I don't, that's not what I meant, and blah, 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 and it did back off. I did have one other attachment one other time, and that was in Mendon, Mass. And that was just because I got sloppy. It was a long investigation that night, and we had trouble locking one of the doors, and we spent a lot of time finally getting that door locked, because we had to get it locked to the library before we left. So we were able to finally get it all locked up, and I forgot to clear myself before I left. Ended up leaving with an attachment, which actually caused me to have a car accident. Yeah, and it had to do with that individual that attached to me, who was killed in a car accident less than a year earlier, less than a mile from that location. So yeah, it can happen. It does happen. Mine haven't been really terribly bad. Of course, this guy got his point across a little bit different than car accident, but but
I know.
anyway,
Everything happens for a reason.
everything does happen for a reason. I didn't know that at the time. I didn't figure it out till after I was reviewing evidence and everything else at home, waiting for my car to be repaired for a couple of weeks, because we had to go back. But that's how I found that out. But everything happens for a reason. But sometimes even getting an attachment happens for a reason as an investigator, so that you can learn how to avoid it. We all learn the hard ways sometimes. This is why we do the teaching, and we talk to people about this. Even in our class, the course I give at Hudson Valley and stuff, which I know is scrolling down below. So yeah, we talk about that stuff in those things and how to avoid attachments. And I think I even discussed that a little bit in one of my other books. In Hauntings, Ghosts, and Demons, I have a little blurb in the back as an article I wrote a while back. I included that in the book. It talks a little bit about attachments, and sometimes people invite them in, right? So who should I feel sorry for, the attachment who came in, or the person who got invited, or the person that invited it? So hang on, because I got to look now. And okay, yeah, it is 8:30. So I'm gonna be. I see Greg is there. So Greg, can you hear me? Okay, I'm gonna bring you on now, my friend. Sorry, we got carried away with answering some questions here. I know it's a little bit after. Okay, here is our good friend Greg TJ Justice. He'll be on in 1 second. There he is.
Hey guys.
There's the man.
Hi.
I'm gonna let's see if I could do this. Whoops, that's not how I wanted to do that. Okay, I'll go back the other way. I wanted to make you the big main focus here instead of the three of us. It just didn't work out that way. So, uh, Greg, we're going to be doing an event in March with March 7th, correct? Yes.
Yes,
Right?
March
Yep.
7th in Columbia, Tennessee.
Yeah. Go ahead and talk about it. I pulled up the website once already, but I'll pull it up again. But go ahead and talk about it.
Yeah, it's in Columbia, Tennessee. It's at the Athenaeum, and it's at Rose Hill Cemetery. So it's a two-location event. And it's also now it's up to about 6 special guests. It'll be Doogie from the Rave Chasers, of course, you and Carly.
Yep.
It will be J.B. Coates,
Nice.
author, paranormal author.
Yep.
And it will also be Daniel and Darla. And if anybody is familiar with going to Old South Pittsburgh a lot, you've probably seen Daniel and Darla at
Oh
Old South
yeah,
Pittsburgh.
yeah. I know who they are. I know who they are. Yeah. I know all those people. So they're
Yeah.
great people. It's gonna be fun to get down there and investigate with everybody. Yeah. So if you guys are out there, make sure you come to this. Here, I'm gonna put it up again. I'm gonna take all of us off of here. I'm gonna put up this is the actual website, and I'm gonna throw it up there solo for a minute. So you can go to this site. You can buy your tickets. Tickets looks like $75, and it's 7 p.m. to 1:30 a.m. I think the whole thing runs to. So come out and see us. Join us. Tickets are selling quick, so get them while you can. That's all I'll tell you. Um, we're back. Okay. Right. So yeah, I mean, so come out and join us. It's gonna be a great time. It's gonna be a good time. And as long as is there anything else you wanted to? You got anything else coming up, Greg? Anything you want to talk about? As long as I got you on here.
Well,
Greg is a great guy. I met him a few years ago. I'm just gonna say this. I met you 3 years ago now, back at um, Scarefest down in Kentucky. And yeah, a great guy. We've been doing a few things together. We did an event at Old South Pittsburgh, and he had a great time. He's a good guy. You're a good guy. I like you. You run a good event and stuff like that. You really do. You really do. You put a lot of effort into it. And it's good. And we got some good mutual friends down there, and stuff. So we're hanging out now and stuff. It's all good. But go ahead. I'm going to give you a thing. Anything else you want to you got coming up? You want to talk about? Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say one more thing about the Columbia event. It's there's 2 locations, 6 guests, and it's not going to hurt your pocketbook. Tickets are only $75, and that includes a meal too. And I mean, you can't really get that anywhere.
No, that is a good deal. That's a really good deal. Yeah.
And a percentage of the proceeds from that event will also go back to Athenaeum to help them restore the building as well.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's a great thing to do.
Yeah, that's one of the main reasons that I do events there, because all the money that they get, they put it directly back into the building. They either paint or fixing leaks or whatever you might have. He always Adam Sutherland is the guy that's over it. He always does a good job about fixing things and making the Athenaeum more I guess what you say,
bringing it back to its original. Yeah, that's what it's about. Because all these places are about history, right? I mean, that's what they're about. They're about history, and that's why a lot of these places are haunted. These places were very important to the people who lived in them, or visited them, or spent time in these different places, even the hospital, but that's why they are haunted. They're not always negatively haunted. They're haunted by the spirits of the people who these places were really important to. And when they see, I think spirits in locations, historical sites, places like that, when they see that these people are trying to keep it up and bring it back to what it was, they're much more ready to interact with people. that come to these events, because you got to remember they don't often get to talk to or have people trying to talk to them anymore, right? So
Yeah.
so when it happens, a lot of times they're very happy with it, as long as you're always respectful and people are neat, nice with them, and they're good about it. It's just like people. I mean, in the end, they were people, so they're still just like people. If you're respectful to them, and you want to learn about them, they will interact with you. Very, very, very much so. I mean, if you're rude and you got to interact with me, or I'm going to do that, you know what? You're going to get the typical. I always say this is why investigators get the typical "get out," because they're being mean to a spirit. And guess what? If you were mean to me in my house, I tell you to get out too.
Yeah.
So,
Or there's just somebody in there that they really don't like, and they're
yeah,
aggravating them, and they're like, "Okay, it's time
yeah.
to leave now." So,
Yeah, that happens too, because sometimes you may remind them of somebody they didn't like in life,
yeah,
or you may just like some people. We rub them the wrong way,
yeah,
We all got our few enemies out there, right? So
yeah.
our haters, I won't say enemies, but our haters out there, because
Some of them more than
they
others,
don't
but
like us for one reason or another. Whatever.
yeah,
Not everybody likes everybody, and that's okay. That's what makes the world diverse. Not
yeah,
everybody gets along, but
But
yeah, these are great events, and
yeah. And
and
there's
that's a great
differences.
deal for what you're offering. And
Yeah,
yeah,
it definitely is, and there's differences in locations too. Like the Athenaeum doesn't do a lot of the big events all the time. That they might do like one or two a year or something.
yeah,
Other times they'll let private teams come in there, but they're very selective about who they let in there. He has to
right,
kind of know who the teams are, or know somebody on one of the teams, or he'll let them come in there and investigate. So
right,
it's actually a treat to actually bring a larger group into the Athenaeum, because they don't let that happen very often.
right.
And when you do get in there, you get some really good evidence. Especially, I've had really good evidence with I call them either the ghost balls, but they're a cat ball, whatever.
I know what you're talking
Um,
about. Yep.
yeah, you can also get some really good stuff on the SLS camera. The last time at the last event, we actually got a figure that was inside of a tree or hanging from a tree or something
Wow.
like that. It was very, very close to like the tree trunk, and
Wow.
it was just stuck there. It wasn't even moving or anything.
Yeah. Well,
And
that's one of the reasons I'm going to drive down this year instead of having you fly me down, because I'm bringing some equipment with me. I do have an SLS camera that a good friend of mine gave me. Bob Romanowski and Carol Romanowski, they gave it to me. He had bought a new one, so he goes, "You can have my old one, Jack." I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's cool." They're good friends. They're very good friends, and I appreciate what they did.
yeah,
And so, yeah, I wanted to bring a little bit more equipment down with me this year. That's one of the reasons we decided to drive down. So we're looking forward. I'm looking forward to it, because this is a place I've never been. So anytime I go someplace new, it's great. Carly, I know, feels the same way.
yeah,
So yeah, we're looking
absolutely.
forward to getting down and seeing you, and
Yeah.
hanging out and stuff too. So
And
we
there
all
really is something to say about the relationship between the people that restore the sites and the spirits there.
mhm,
Because one thing I've noticed from going back and forth multiple times to places, the two historical sites that have been restored, you can feel the change in the energy of the spirits. It's more, it's like a stronger relationship between the people that stay there and restore the place and the spirits. It's like a very special connection.
yeah,
yeah, it is. And where I've been at Old South Pittsburgh so much, and I helped restore it, help bring it back to what it is now.
yeah,
Sometimes I'll walk in there and you'll get a shadow person like stick their head out the door and say, "Oh, it's you," and they go back to their
yeah.
Yeah,
regular.
you
It
know?
does happen. You're
Like,
right. It does.
we've
Yeah, they
seen
get to
you
know you.
like 100
Mhm.
times, so we don't want to.
Yeah, they get to know you. They get to
Absolutely.
know who
They
you
do.
are, and they recognize you. It's like, oh, it's just Greg again. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but you
Hey,
become
okay.
almost like family. It's like so special, and it's
Anyway.
wonderful to experience that.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
So
So
that in itself is definitely worth
and
just
it is.
$75.
right, and that's
Yeah,
the
and
positive side, honestly, of hauntings. I mean, you can
yeah,
get hauntings that can be like that, and even people in their homes. Once you, with a lot of spirits, I mean, they're not always. Everybody thinks everything's demonic. It's not. A lot of times it's just misunderstood. But when you can get like an agreement going, or just work with the spirit that maybe is haunting your home, and we
Yeah.
can work things out. It can be a very good relationship. I mean, they may, they'll leave you alone for the most part, but they may pop their
Yeah.
head out once in a while and see what you're doing, what you're up to. And I've always told people who live in haunted locations, when you go in, if you're going to update your home and something like that, it may sound weird, but talk to the spirit that's there. Tell them what you're planning to do, and a lot of times you'll get no activity during the upgrades,
Yeah.
because they know what's going on. You've told them, you've informed them what's going on. I think for some of them, that's just what they want. They want to know what's going on.
Yeah.
Why are these people in my home, and what's happening? So it can work out. And I think it's the same in those locations. Like when you first go in and start investigating these places, they're probably wondering, what the hell are these people doing here? Well, they shouldn't belong. They don't belong here. And they're maybe, trying to interact with you to get you the hell out, until they realize, oh, these people are trying to help.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe I'll interact with them in a different way. So,
Yeah, I know that during the renovations, that they had actually even caught some EVPs from Old South Pittsburgh that said, "Oh, they're making it smell better."
I could see
Especially on the
that.
first
I've been
floor.
there. I can see that. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, because we know it was in pretty rough shape before our friend there recently picked it up. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, and he's been doing a great job with all you people, all you volunteers and stuff, helping out to clean it all up, get rid of
Yeah.
those messes that were in there, and really get rid of the black mold I know was in
Yeah.
there, and it's all been pretty much cleaned up now. And you guys,
And making it smell better.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And they do, because when I first went down there, I was in a couple sections hadn't been totally renovated yet. Yeah, and you could smell the like.
Yeah.
Ugh. Then you go in the other sections that had been, at least they brought it down to the brick walls and cleaned up a lot of stuff. It was like, wow, big
Yeah.
difference in the smell and just the feel of it too. So,
Yeah.
but that third floor is still weird.
Yeah. Well, it Old South is really unique, because the spirits there will work with you. They know that we have events to make sure that we have the money to keep, renovating the place and all that. You can just go through there and say, "Okay, guys, there's an event tonight. We got so many people coming.
Yeah.
Let's give them a show," and they'll give them a show. So, I mean, like pretty much before every event that I have there, one of us will walk the halls and say, "Okay, guys, we got an event. Let's
Yeah.
put on a show for them," and
There
they
you go.
usually don't disappoint. So,
There you go. Hey, Greg, I'm going to throw one out to you. This is like a question from Colette McCarty. So I'm going to throw this question out, as long as we got you on here, because you're an investigator too. I have never had an attachment, she says. Why would a spirit follow you home when they don't know you or your house? So that's kind of the question part of that. And she went on to say, when we go on investigations, nobody goes home with a spirit. They stay where they are because they love the place and live there. But etc. So she goes on. But why, in your opinion, why would a spirit follow somebody home? Considering the fact she's right, they don't know
yeah.
you, and they don't know where you live or your location. So why do you think, given those things, why would you think one would follow you?
Could be a lot of different things. They either like her energy, or they're feeding off of some type of negative energy that she might be putting out at the time.
Right.
Or she might remind them of somebody that they used to know. So it could be a lot of different things.
Right. Right. Yeah, I like the last one, because if you do remind them of somebody they used to know, they might definitely follow you home, thinking you're that person, that
Yeah.
friend that they used to have. So it doesn't necessarily even have to be a bad attachment, realistically. It can turn into that, because, as you know, they drain that energy. Spirit drains energy out of you, because they're feeding off your energy, even if they don't realize they're doing it. I believe that happens too. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, if they thought you were somebody they knew in life, and they're maybe a little confused, sure, why wouldn't they follow you home? Also, like I did, some people make the mistake of saying something like, well, I didn't ever ask anything to follow me home, but, oh, if you're a little kid, oh, why don't you come on home with me, and it'll be okay, or and you're just invited, and you don't really know if it's a little kid or not, really, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, it could be a adult spirit that you may think as a child, and then, yeah, okay, yeah, I'm coming home with you. Thanks for the invitation, because I don't want to stay in this old dilapidated place anymore.
Yeah.
Your house
Yeah.
has to be better than this place, right? You
And
know,
no matter where you go, no matter if you think it's haunted or if you think it has good spirits, bad spirits, whatever, it's always a good practice to always say out loud to them, that they have to stay where they're at. They can't follow you home.
yeah,
It's always a good practice to have sage and know actually how to remove the attachment from you as well before you
yeah,
start an investigation or before you go into somewhere that you think something might attach to you.
yeah. It's true. I agree with that. I agree.
Mhm.
Carly, what are your thoughts on it? I'm reading us through some of our stuff here, so you
No,
guys.
absolutely. I agree. I had that mistake where we were at a client investigation and I removed an attachment. Even for people who remove attachments, you need to be very careful because sometimes those attachments get really PO'd and they follow you home and they let you know about it. Because I was getting ready for bed. It was about midnight and I was in my bathroom. I had the door closed and I heard walking up my stairs, the front stairs, and someone had opened my front door, closed it, and walked by my bathroom. I saw the shadow underneath the stairs. I thought it was Jack because we keep all our equipment here, and it was right after the investigation. And I thought maybe he had forgotten something or he had forgotten to drop off something. I mean, we're not too far away from each other, so I texted him and I go, "Hey, did you forget something?" LOL. And he's like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah,
I'm in bed and I'm like, no, no,
I was at my house,
no.
and she's like,
I was like, not right now. So I go outside, and of course, there's this man who I had visualized the same man at this client's house sitting at my chair in my eating area. And so I ran into my bedroom and I called Jack because it was a human spirit, but he was very, he didn't like women.
yeah,
He didn't like listening to women. No woman was going to tell him what to do. And I'm like, great. So now I'm stuck with this guy that doesn't want to listen to me because I'm a 23-year-old female. Like, great. Okay. So I called Jack and I'm like, I don't know what to do right now. So I kept him on speaker. I threw my phone out into the living room and shut the door to my bedroom and waited for him
and
to
I
let the
had to yell
spirit
at the
to bug off.
spirit and tell it to go away. It wasn't welcome there, and it worked. Actually worked.
Yeah, he walked out. I heard him walk out and he just disappeared. And I was like,
I think
okay.
it's just because he heard the other male voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you did threaten to sage his butt out of the
Yeah, I
place
told him I'd come over and
make
get
him
rid
go
of it. I
away.
told him if he didn't leave, I'd come over
So,
and get rid of him. So
so,
I did make a threat,
but yeah,
but he
it
left.
does
He left, and
happen.
he hasn't been, and nothing's come back since then. So yeah, so it's weird stuff. Here's another
I
one.
made the mis.
Here
Yeah.
was another question, because we only got a couple questions left here that I could see. Um, this is from Penny Tessman. She's a paranormal investigator herself. I found I have a young spirit girl at home. She stays in the backyard. Do you think I brought her back with me from one of my investigations? I did do a protection cleansing on my home, so no spirit can enter. What do you think of this? Okay, Penny. I don't know if I could say I am. Yeah, it would depend on when this spirit of the little girl showed up. Did it show up after one of your investigations? And so was there supposedly a little girl at one of these locations you went to investigate? As long as she stays outside by the swings, leave her alone. Let her stay there. It's so she's not
Yeah.
bothering you. She's not hurting anything. Even if she followed you home, even if it was a little girl and she followed you home, maybe she thinks you remind her of, like we were talking about before, Greg. And maybe Penny reminds this young girl spirit of her mother, or somebody she was close to when she was alive. So she followed her home for that purpose. As long as she's content out on the swing set in the backyard, leave her alone. She's not messing with you. If it starts messing with you, then you can do some things from there. But that's great that I think she set up some protection around her home to keep things out. That's very important too. And then one other question I saw. Uh, it's addressed to me, but anybody, I'll let you guys answer this. Why is it that usually people will hear or see things when they're alone, making it seem like they're going crazy? So why do spirits mess with people when they're alone to make it seem like they're going crazy? Because you
No.
are. No, I'm
Sometimes I feel
I
like I
hear
am.
things when I'm alone all
Yeah.
the time. No.
No.
Yeah. Well, those. I'll let you guys answer that question. So, why do you think that happens? Why do you think spirits mess with people when they're alone?
You want to go first, Carla? Or you want me?
It's you can go first.
Go ahead,
Okay.
Greg. You're our guest. You
Okay.
go first.
I think it's easier to approach somebody when they're by themselves, because usually when you're doing ghost hunting or you're doing an investigation, you're with a group of people, or there's at least someone else usually always with you,
Hmm.
or kind of close by. And if they're wanting your attention and only wanting your attention, or wanting you to know something, and you're the one that they're singling out that they want to communicate with, they're more than likely going to wait till you're alone to do it.
Good point. Good point. I didn't. I hadn't really kind of thought of it that way. I'm getting too close. I'm getting too involved with too many dark cases these days. But that's a good.
Yeah, it's a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah. Because I tend to end up looking at it sometimes from a perspective of they do that because they want to harass you basically. But I think you got a better option there, Greg.
Yeah,
That there's it's just it's like most people. If they want to talk to you specifically, they're not going to try to talk to you around a crowd.
Yeah.
right.
They're going to try to talk to you when you're alone.
And also from the receiver's point of view, there's less. You're on. It's just you and the spirit. There's no other energies going on around you, so you're not distracted or overwhelmed by any other energies, and things have kind of calmed down in a sense. It's like kind of how spirit activity, you kind of feel like it picks up at night, but it really doesn't,
Mhm.
because things have kind of calmed down a little bit.
The individual is more open because they're
Yeah, the
alone and
individual's more
there's
open. Yep,
nothing distracting them, right? Okay, gotcha. Okay, that
that's
makes
my
sense.
point. I like Greg's point though. That's awesome.
It is.
I never thought about it that way.
Yeah, it is. It is a good.
That does make
I think I
sense.
used
Yeah,
to think about it that way. I've just gotten too many dark cases these days.
you're turning
I
to the
blame a
dark
friend. I
side.
blame a friend of mine about that. There's a reason I get all these demonic type cases these days. But it is what it is. We're helping people. That's all that matters. So, um, we're actually at our time just about. It's
Oh
8:58,
wow.
but we can go a little longer. I think we started a little late. So, Greg, anything else you wanted to talk about? You want to plug your website and anything else you got? Go ahead. Time to do it.
Yeah. Well, if anybody wants to come to the events, you can find me on Facebook under Paranormal Adventures Event Management. And we'll have a list of all the events there. Like I said, the next upcoming event is your event on March the 7th, Columbia,
Right.
Tennessee. That's with dude from the Rafe Chasers and JB Coates and Carly and all kinds of people at it.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't seen JB since I was down for the one event we did down at Old South Pittsburgh. So it'll be good to see her
Yeah,
again. Yeah,
yeah,
looking
we'll
forward to
have
that.
all kinds of people and all kinds of fun, and it's I mean, when you come to one of my events, we more or less treat you like family. We don't treat you
Absolutely.
like you're uh, just like somebody that we're there for us to make money off of. That's
Right.
not the whole point. We
Right.
like the friendship, the kinship, all that stuff. We like to learn off one another. We
Right.
usually try to do different types of experiments during our events, ones that a lot of people hasn't participated in before, or have only seen on TV, something
Right.
like that.
Right.
Richard Estep taught us how to do the human pendulum, so we try to let people do that as
Yep.
well.
My good buddy
We'll,
Richard. Yep.
yeah, we'll do the Estes method, like you see on Kindred Spirits. We'll do that a lot of times. So a lot of different stuff that maybe people haven't gotten to participate in, and we try to do that during our events.
Yeah, that's what I liked about doing your events with you. Number one, you're about the people,
Hmm.
making it fun, kind of like family. But you actually do some teaching. during your events. If people want, if you haven't been to one of Greg's events yet, we actually do a lot of, like, if you want to learn something regarding investigating, it's a great place to do it, because you can talk to us, you can ask us questions, and we'll show you how to do stuff. We'll talk to you about anything you got. And we did that a lot at the when we did the oh my God, the whiskey place there, was it? Short Mountain Distillery. Yeah, we had a lot of people coming up to us and asking us, well, hey, I've done this and done that, but what's the best way to do this, or to use my recorder, or what type of recorder should I use, or this or that and the other thing, or I don't have a lot of money, and how can I get really kind of into investigating? And we go through that with them, and we talk about all that stuff, and how you can use your cell phone even to investigate with if you don't have a lot of money, but you really love, you have a passion to want to investigate and go to locations, and we talk to them about all that. We show them, and we even try to help them out where we can. So it's that's why I love your working with you, Greg, and doing your events. Is you do it the right way, and you do a great job of it. So we appreciate it as investigators and stuff. We appreciate that.
I appreciate it. Especially coming from you, somebody that's been investigating many years. I'm glad that we're doing the things the way that we should be doing in my standpoint.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree. Heck, I wouldn't drive all that way down to Tennessee from New York if I didn't. Remember that, people. I am driving all the way down, so buy a ticket and show up. No, no, if you do, you'll have a great. If you, I'm addressing the fans and followers out there. If you do come down to the event, you'll have a great time. We'll make sure that you'll enjoy it, and that is a great price for what you're offering for that event. $75 to get all of that and dinner and everything out. You can't beat that. That's a great night out. So come on out to it, enjoy it, have fun with it.
This past weekend, we just had an event at the Rosemont with a couple of Ghost Brothers, and that went really well.
Yeah,
and, we'll be having them back again the weekend after the Columbia event. It'll be on March 13th. 14th,
oh, there you go.
South Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
The 2-day event, come on the 13th, or you can come on the 14th, or you can come both days.
Yeah.
We'll be doing different stuff on both days. Even going as far as playing the Friday the 13th or the Jason movies on Friday the 13th. The next day we'll be doing hide and seek with the Ghost Brothers, where you find the Ghost Brothers or you find any of the OSPH staff, you get whatever gift that staff member has.
Oh, very cool.
It can include free tickets, T-shirts, anything.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And those Ghost Brothers are great guys. I've met them a few times, as you know, and they're awesome guys. I even message with them once in a while, a couple of them on Facebook. So they're pretty cool guys. I love those guys. I'd love to investigate with them myself someday. So yeah, they're cool. I love them.
Yeah,
it'll be my first time meeting them, so I'm excited.
There's no difference in them and them on TV. It's like,
no, there's not. There really isn't.
They seem like so much fun.
Yeah, they are. Who you see on TV is who they are, and that's what I love about them. They are. That's who they are. And that's a great way to be. That's a perfect way to be. Is if you're on these TV shows. People ask me that question too. What should I'm going to be on a TV show. What do I do? What should I do? I said, be yourself. Because if that's whoever people see when you're on TV, that's who they expect you to be when they meet you. So be yourself, and you never have to pretend to be anything. And if you're yourself, you're genuine. People pick up on that. They know if you're BSing them or not. And those guys are just genuine. They're just totally genuine. So is Doogie. He's a crazy guy. I love him. I love him.
He's a lot of fun too. He's a big
fan. Yeah. All those guys, that whole team. Scott, I've known Scott for quite a while now too, and all those guys they're great guys. They really.
And the thing about Doogie is he'll bring his big case of equipment, and like he'll start pulling stuff out, and he'll teach you everything that's in there.
Yeah, I got a story about Doogie. We were at Plymouth Con and year before last, and we're the event's over. I'm loading up the car, and he happened to be outside on the phone, and I'm getting older now. I had this big case, and I got a bad back. So he knew that. He goes, hey, Jack, he goes, you need help with that? I'm like, what? He goes, the case. He goes, he grabs the case, just throws it into the back of my Charger. And I'm like, holy shit. He goes, yeah, that's done. I think I can help you out. I said, thanks, because I was going to kill my back trying to lift that thing. So it probably weighed about 60 pounds with all the books and everything else I had in it, right? So it wasn't light.
I know
It
what
wasn't
case
light.
you're talking
Yeah,
about.
it's the big case with all the books I bring down. And that's the other thing. I'll be bringing down a lot of the books and stuff this year. So I have all those with me too.
At least Doogie will be there.
Yeah, hey, Doogie, I need you to unload the car this time, too.
We get Daniel to help you, and some of the other ones.
Yeah, I got a little easier now. I got a new vehicle. I've got a Honda CR-V, which is a nice hatchback. Everything rolls out real easy now. And I gave I still have a Dodge Charger, but I'm letting my son use it for college right now. So he's the top guy on campus with using a Dodge Charger, driving a Dodge Charger out in college campus. I think it's the only one out there, as a matter of fact. So, because every time I would show up with it to pick him up from college, they'd be like, hey, that's your dad's car? You're like, oh, he's cool. I'd laugh. It was funny. So yeah, so he's driving that. But I got a new Honda CR-V, and it makes it much easier to take all of our stuff with us now. So that's the other reason I want.
I'm sure it does. There's not very much room in a Dodge Charger.
Well, it has a big trunk in it. Let me tell you, it had a big trunk in it. I give it that. I used to get everything in there. Trust me, everything fit. It's a full size car. Everything fit. But it's just getting this stuff in and out was a pain. But looking forward to the event, Greg. I really appreciate it. Why don't you hit your plug your website one more time, and then I think we're gonna wrap it up here for the night. And we appreciate you coming on and everything else too. But go ahead.
I appreciate y'all having me on, and it's just on Facebook, Paranormal Adventures Event Management, or on Instagram too, under the same Paranormal Adventures Event Management.
So that's you broke up a little bit, so I'm just going to repeat it for you. Paranormal Events Management, correct?
Paranormal Adventures Events Management.
Paranormal Adventures Events Management.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. So
it's a mouthful, but yeah.
It's a good name, though. It's a good name. But you can find them on Facebook, Paranormal Adventures Event Management.
Yeah, and later on in the year, we'll be helping you out with the Autism Speaks.
Awesome.
We'll be at that event.
Thanks for coming up to that. I appreciate that.
Got some other things going on that's not all about making profit. It's about giving back. So there'll be some other events that you'll be seeing coming up that will be for charities and things like that. So,
and that's what our autism event is about too. It's all, with the exception of what we have to pay out to rent the place there. All the rest of the money goes to the Autism Speaks. We're not keeping a dime of it. So the only thing we're taking a little bit for is just for the rental of the Ashmore Estates, and that's it.
Well, the way I see it, if you're getting blessed and being able to do what you love, you might as well give back to people less fortunate, or give back to a cause that you really believe in. So.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that Autism Speaks one is close to me because, as many people know now, I have a son with autism myself, so I get what what families with that have to go through and all that stuff. So that's a big reason for when Candace asked me to do that. She didn't even know at the time. I said, "Geez, you picked the right one for me to do with it." I told her. So we're looking forward to that. That's going to be a good time. So again, thank you, Greg, and I hope you have a good night, and we'll bring you back again.
Yeah, definitely.
Anytime you like.
Just give me a holler, and
I will do that. I will do that anytime. Anytime. All right, I'm going to let you go there, buddy. Have a good night.
All right, see y'all later. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. I love Greg. He's awesome.
Yeah, he's a good guy. So I just want to wrap up our show for tonight. If we missed any of your questions, we will go through them during the week here, and we will try to answer them either through the the feed there, or we'll message you privately with some answers. We'll probably message right on the feed so other people can see it. We always appreciate you guys tuning in to listen to us. I know this is only our second show. We are looking at, I think we're going to try this, since we're only doing an hour, we're going to try this on a weekly basis rather than a bi-weekly. If that doesn't totally work out for us, we may go back to bi-weekly. But we're going to try it on a weekly basis, again, since it's only an hour. And because we know you guys like asking the questions, and it's easier to follow on a weekly basis than a bi-weekly. But thank you again all for tuning into the live feed, and we really appreciate you. We love you out there. Have a good night, and get your tickets for the event in Columbia, Tennessee. All right.
Yes.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.
Yeah. Have a good night.